Continuing our discussion of heap buffer overflows, we're going to look at our latest program that has 3 buffers inside of immunity. So I've already set a breakpoint before my heap create. So I'll go ahead and I will run up until that point. And then I'm going to step past my heap create. I can look at the heap using exclamation heap, and that will give me a list of heaps. And I will go back here and run this again. So I'm going to go ahead and keep on stepping. I allocate my first buffer, my second buffer, then I free the second buffer, and I call stir copy. So if I look at my heap, here I see all of those B's, then the A's, then the B's, and then this address. And I'll go ahead and step, allocate buffer 2 again. I allocate my third buffer, and now I'm getting ready to call stir copy. So I can call stir copy here, and that has copied in my shellcode into buffer number 3. I can keep on stepping, and before I get to the free, I want to look at my look aside. So I'm going to say look aside, and I want to look at the heap at 480000, and it says I've dumped it. So if I look, it's dumped the look aside, and it says that is at 480688. It seems like there's a little bit of a glitch or a bug with immunity because it doesn't like to bring up that memory a second time. So it seems like it's a one-shot deal on looking at that memory directly. But there are other ways that you can get around this. So take note of this address, 480688. And now if I go to view and I look at memory, I see I have my heap right here, 48 with 4 zeros. And if I double click on that, I can see my memory. Inside of this dump, I'm going to see my zeros. So here I've got kind of the header for this information, and I want to scroll down to the 48688. So here I can see some information, and I can go ahead and search for those B's that I created. So I'm going to search for BB. And here it is, 481EA0. That's the location. Here's my B's. And what comes right after that? I see 4 A's, then 4 B's, and then here is my address. What am I trying to do here? I am trying to overwrite an address. I'm trying to exploit a vulnerability. It's a little bit harder with a heap vulnerability. I can't just overwrite a return address on the stack and be done with it. Instead, what I'm having to do is I have to write into an area that contains a pointer that someone's going to access or call, and I need to put my shellcode somewhere. So if I look at my memory dump, what am I looking for? I am looking for a memory location that is writable and executable. That's the key. So I need something that I can execute and that I can also write. Notice that my heap has been marked as read, write, and execute. If you look at some other areas in memory, you'll notice they are not marked as executable, and that can be a problem for you. So if I look at my dump, I have copied my shellcode into a memory chunk that has been labeled as writable, which is a good thing. I need to be able to write to it. It's also executable. We'll find in some later videos that a lot of modern operating systems will not allow you to execute code on the stack, which can be a problem. We'll get more into that when we talk about exploit development later in this course. So, do you recognize some of this additional information? Well, if I go back to my program, here I have my shellcode. starts with 31C9. So if I go back to immunity, do I see my shellcode? I sure do. It's right here. 31C9, etc. So again, what did I do? I overwrote certain pointers in my look aside list. And by doing that, I can carefully construct a program which will perform a certain function. Now, in the files for this course, you will find an executable, and you may be able to figure out exactly what that function is and what the shellcode does.